I was hardworking, very motivated. I have my goals.
Veronica Campbell-Brown was built different. A sprinter with heart, power, and poise. She didn't just run races, she dominated eras. Before the world saw Usain Bolt lighting up tracks, Jamaica already had a queen blazing trails. Veronica, she came from humble beginnings, running barefoot at school sports days in Clarkstown, Jamaica. But from the very first sprint, her potential was undeniable. Fast forward a few years, and she wasn't just another runner. She was a three-time Olympic champion, three-time world champion, and the first woman from Jamaica to win Olympic gold in a sprint event. And that was just the beginning. Over a career that spanned 2 decades and 5 Olympic Games, Veronica collected a whopping 8 Olympic medals and 13 World Championship medals, including 5 golds. The numbers are jaw-dropping, but what made her truly iconic wasn't just her resume, it was her mindset. Veronica had balance. She knew when to compete and when to hold back. She didn't run herself into the ground chasing every race or medal. Instead, she trained smart, took care of her body, and made sure her mind was right. In her own words, "I was hardworking, very motivated, I made my goals," and she lived by them. That discipline paid off. At the 2004 Athens Olympics, she made history. 2 golds and a bronze in 1 Games, becoming the most successful Caribbean athlete at a single Olympics. In 2008, she did it again, defending her 200-meter title, something only a handful of women have ever done. And along the way, she built one of the sport's fiercest rivalries with America's Allison Felix. Together, they defined a generation of women sprinting. But even as she racked up win after win, Veronica stayed grounded. Her humility set her apart. She never chased headlines, never needed the flash. She just showed up, performed, and let the stopwatch do the talking. Off the track, she became a UNESCO ambassador, launched the VCB Foundation to support young girls in Jamaica, and constantly spoke about the importance of giving back. "If I can touch just one life," she once said, "I'll help someone get a high school education, mentor them, and point them in the right direction." She wasn't just inspiring with her speed, she inspired with her character. Her words and actions continue to echo through the sport, especially for women chasing their dreams in places where resources and opportunities are limited. She never forgot where she came from, and that made her legacy even stronger. When she finally hung up her spikes in 2021, it wasn't just the end of a career, it was the closing chapter of a legendary era. Her Instagram retirement post was raw and emotional. She spoke of injuries, rejection, and tears, but also of pride, gratitude, and fulfillment. She left the sport, in her words, happy and content with a race well run. But now, even in retirement, Veronica hasn't stepped out of the spotlight completely. She still has plenty to say, and recently, she dropped a surprise take that shook the sprinting world. On a podcast appearance with Ready, Set, Go, she claimed she could have run faster than 10.7 seconds if she had access to the same technology and training techniques that athletes like Sha'Carri Richardson and Julian Alfred benefit from today. You heard that right, Veronica Campbell-Brown, a woman who already has 8 Olympic medals to her name, believes she could have gone even faster in today's sprinting environment. Her statement wasn't bitter, though, it was confident, calm, and powerful. She wasn't trying to discredit modern sprinters. In fact, she praised them, but she did remind everyone, don't forget who paved the way. Veronica explained that during her prime years, her mid to late 20s, her technique wasn't where it needed to be. She admitted that her start was a weakness at the time, and that improvements in coaching, biomechanics, and even track spikes today could have given her an edge she never had. "I think I could have gone faster," she said. "I could have run 10.6 if everything had aligned." It's a bold claim, but one that's hard to argue against. After all, look at how many sprint legends from her era had to do it the hard way. No wind tunnels, no data science, no super shoes, just grit, talent, and relentless training. And it's not just Veronica making these points. The current generation of sprinters, like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, and of course Sha'Carri Richardson, are breaking records with tools that athletes 10 or 15 years ago didn't have. For context, Fraser-Price's switch to a new coach helped her clock a stunning 10.60, and in the same race, Thompson-Herah dropped 10.54, the closest any woman has come to Flo Jo's 10.49. Veronica wasn't criticizing, she was reflecting, comparing eras, asking the question we all wonder, what if? What if she had the same tools? What if she'd been able to fine-tune her start and sharpen her form? Would we be talking about Veronica Campbell-Brown as the Veronica Campbell-Brown's comments have sparked a fascinating debate in the track and field world. Her claim that she could have run 10.6 seconds in the modern era isn't just wishful thinking, it's a genuine question about how much technology, coaching, and science have reshaped the sport. part. If legends like Veronica had access to today's advancements, would they have been even faster? This conversation isn't new. Many retired athletes often reflect on how different their careers might have been with today's tools. From improved track surfaces to aerodynamic gear and specialized training programs, the game has changed. And while that doesn't take away from today's sprinters, it does make you wonder how much of today's speed is raw talent and how much is cutting-edge science. Veronica's reflections add another layer to this discussion. She wasn't just a great sprinter, she was a pioneer. She helped put Jamaica's women sprinting on the map long before the country became a global sprinting powerhouse. Before Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, and Shericka Jackson, there was Veronica. And when she says she could have run faster, people listen. But the real question is, how does this relate to Sha'Carri Richardson? Sha'Carri is the face of American sprinting right now. She's the reigning world champion, the fastest US woman since Florence Griffith Joyner, and one of the most talked about athletes in track and field. She's bold, outspoken, and undeniably talented. But just like Veronica, she's also faced criticism. The comparison between the two is interesting. While their personalities are completely different, Sha'Carri thrives on attention and energy, while Veronica was all business. Their journeys have parallels. Both had to prove themselves against doubters, both had to overcome obstacles, and both have left a major impact on the sport. When Veronica spoke about the modern sprinting era, she didn't call out Sha'Carri directly, but the implications were clear. She acknowledged that the current crop of sprinters has resources she didn't, and that those tools have played a role in their performances. But instead of dismissing today's athletes, she challenged them. She urged the next generation to respect the past, learn from it, and push even further. Her comments also serve as a message to Jamaican athletes. Jamaica dominated sprinting for years, but the 2024 season showed signs of struggle. The country's relay teams fell short, and some of their biggest stars weren't at their best. Veronica sees this as a wake-up call. She wants young Jamaican runners to look back at their history, take inspiration from past champions, and reignite the fire that once made the island a sprinting powerhouse. This is where the discussion gets even more interesting. We know that track and field evolves every generation. Athletes get faster, training gets smarter, and records fall. But is there a limit? Are we approaching the peak of what the human body can do? Or will technology continue to push performances even further? If Veronica is right, and she truly could have run 10.6 in today's conditions, what does that say about the future of sprinting? Could we see women regularly breaking 10.5? Could someone one day challenge FloJo's 10.49? One thing is clear, Veronica Campbell-Brown's legacy is secure. She doesn't need faster times to prove her greatness. She has the medals, the records, and the respect of an entire sport. But her words remind us of something important. Track and field isn't just about times on a clock. It's about eras, rivalries, and the stories that connect them. Sha'Carri Richardson is writing her chapter right now. She's at the top of her game, but she still has more to prove. The question is, will she embrace the challenge? Will she learn from the legends before her, refine her craft, and push to even greater heights? Or will she settle for being the best of her time rather than one of the best of all time? Veronica's perspective also raises an interesting point about how we measure greatness. In today's world, athletes are judged by numbers, how fast they run, how many medals they win, and how often they dominate the competition. But track and field has never just been about statistics. It's about impact. Veronica's impact goes beyond the stopwatch. She inspired a generation of Jamaican sprinters, proved that dominance wasn't limited to the men's side, and opened doors for the stars that followed. Even now, years after retirement, her name still carries weight in the sprinting world. That's the mark of a true legend. Sha'Carri is still building her legacy. She has the speed, the talent, and the confidence. But to be remembered among the greats, she will need longevity. Many sprinters have burned bright for a season or two, only to fade into history. The real legends sustain their excellence over time. That's what Veronica did, and that's what Sha'Carri must do if she wants her name to be spoken in the same breath as the greatest of all time. In the end, this isn't just about one athlete versus another. It's about what makes an athlete truly great. Is it raw speed, championships, consistency, or is it the ability to influence the sport beyond just their own results?